Hello and welcome to Media Lit, where we treat each piece of media like great literature. I'm your host, Randy Elaine, and joining me as always is the wonderful Kris Ingersoll. Kris, come in and know me better, man.
I am so thrilled to do so, buddy. Thank you for welcoming me in. It's going to be a great night on the pod. This is my third pod of the week, but my first with you, my dear friend, my home in podcasting. So stoked to be here, stoked for a classic Media Lit, but it's time to get into some holiday festivities. So we have a little bit of extra fun in the format tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of the content, outside of the format, we have a tremendous guest. One of our first podlings, having given us one of the strongest episodes of Media Lit to date on the legendary film The Crow. We have the one, the only, Amanda Rivas, coming back to join us tonight. Amanda, welcome back to Media Lit. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here, you guys. I love podcasting with you guys, whether it's over at Socially Distanced, Anime Pop, and now here, because I mean, it's a blast. And we're talking about one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. So I am so hyped to do this with you guys. Thank you for having me.
We couldn't have done this without you. That was obvious.
It's always a total joy when we get to have Amanda pop onto the podcast, but she's always busy on Socially Distanced, Anime Pop. She is cosplaying. She is working her day job. And when we can get her on this pod, it's going to be a good time. She makes the podcast better, episode by episode. You've even helped us grow our podcast family, Amanda, not only with your pop break connections, but our good buddies over at Should I Go See It, including Bill George, cited your episode on The Crow as, I believe, their first listen. And you got Bill to go and watch The Crow for the first time. Is that accurate, Kris?
That is accurate.
So even if you're not actively on the pod, you are strengthening the pod. And I'm just so happy to be doing a holiday episode. Kris, you feel like describing any fashion choices tonight?
Oh, I'd be so happy to, because we're already bringing the festive energy. I thought I was going to be the fun one. I came on wearing my tartan snoozy cap, which I am a proud old man. I will rock around the house all winter long in my long nightshirt and my tartan snoozy cap. But I came ill prepared, it turns out, because my dear co-host Randy arrived in literal belts. He has just the most festive of Santa hats on, with reindeer antlers attached. He's both Santa and reindeer rolled into one. Only you could do that, buddy.
Well, I talk about maximum efficiency. I love that
Well,
Santa reindeer combo.
Proving what a tremendous podling Amanda is without prompting, without planning. She also arrived at the podcast in festive attire, rocking just the most intense Jack Skellington Santa shirt. Is this your first bit of festive wear for the season? Does it start now? Yeah.
This is actually. I'm starting to pull out my Christmas shirts. Our tree is already up. Brandon put our Polar Express train up around the tree.
Yes.
This is my time. The minute that I'm like, okay, Halloween is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Halloween. It's fun. It's great. I acknowledge Thanksgiving. It's a great holiday for people to get together, eat turkey. I'm here for stuffing, but really my season, I'm like, I can start Christmas now because this is my time. I love Christmas.
Who better to bridge the gap than Jack Skellington?
This is a beautiful graphic tee. We do have some reds, but it's got kind of a cool color scheme. You've got this sort of magical bluish glow, but this is our pal Amanda Rivas. So I assure you that this is upon a black t-shirt.
You are correct.
Her signature color. I would not have it any other way.
Classic. I mean, it's my comfort color and I love it. And it makes everything pop a little bit more on the graphics. That's why I like it too.
Agreed.
We're going to have some fun tonight. And I'm glad we are, because I potted with Amanda last night and it was it was a great conversation, but a dour one. The topic at hand was not festive.
No, it was very bah humbug.
Randy, you want to tell them what we're talking about tonight?
We are here tonight to talk about one of the all-time Christmas films, and that is Jim Henson's A Muppet Christmas Carol. This movie has grabbed on to our heartstrings harder than maybe any other Christmas movie. It has this massive appeal across multiple ages and decades. And we are going to do our absolute best to unpack why it means so much to us. And we're also going to dig into what makes this just an incredible piece of art and also, of course, a whole lot of fun. But before we can have all that fun and all of that in-depth discussion, I've got to give you my signature synopsis of the film. So for folks who haven't watched the film in a little while, here we go. After a quick introduction to a Muppified Victorian London, we meet the real Charles Dickens, who just happens to look an awful lot like the great Gonzo, and his very hungry pal, Rizzo the Rat. Our intrepid storytellers invite us into the world of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and we are off to the races. We feel Scrooge's bad vibes from the moment he steps around the corner and casts an imposing silhouette upon our very hearts and souls. We see that Scrooge is hated and feared by all, and then we also see him shame and terrorize his freezing bookkeeping staff, harass a couple of charity workers, and amp up his hatred to 11 in an attempt to dampen his nephew Fred's Christmas cheer. If that weren't bad enough, he chucks a wreath at Bean Bunny, arguably the cutest Muppet across all properties. Luckily, the hardworking and charming Bob Cratchit is able to finagle a day off for himself and the rest of the staff. Working on Christmas just won't be good for business. If he wasn't already charming enough, Bob then ice skates with some penguins on the way home. Scrooge returns home where he is accosted by the ghosts of his greedy former business partners, Jacob and Robert Marley. They implore Scrooge to cast his greed aside and replace it with goodwill and charity. They also give him a heads up that he will be visited by 3 spirits before he wakes the next morning. Scrooge is shaken, but skeptical. The visually stunning and sometimes terrifying spirits show up and quickly transform Scrooge into a charitable ray of sunshine by making him confront his past, understand the pain he has caused in the present, and consider the legacy he is likely to leave behind if he doesn't change his ways. Ultimately, Scrooge wakes up kicking his heels and eager to spread goodwill and charity. He goes on a shopping spree and slowly builds a massive Muppet entourage to serve as his fellow harbingers of joy. Ultimately, they arrive at the door of Bob Cratchit. After a little play acting as evil Scrooge one last time, Ebenezer goes full undercover boss and surprises Bob with a raise and an offer to pay off his entire mortgage. If you saw how cute nephew Robin looked as Tiny Tim, you would offer to pay off his family's mortgage as well. Yes, we get the ultra super happy ending, and for a brief moment, this film makes every viewer believe that kindness really is the most powerful force on earth. As the credits roll, we collectively wipe away our tears of pure joy. So there you have it. Folks, what would you like to tack on to that synopsis?
I don't think I could tack on anything. You did it so eloquently, other than I just needed my light the lamp, not the rat. Light the lamp, not the rat. One.
Light the lamp, not the rat.
that was beautifully done.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. No notes. I agree. Robin is adorable as Tiny Tim. You nailed it.
Oh my gosh, exactly. I was like, you know what? Just take my money. Just take my money.
Little cap.
At this point, I know. You know who else was adorable? The little mice. With the
yes,
that was a lot. There was a lot of adorable in this, and I think Randy captured all, especially the Bean Bunny synopsis. That is, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with Bean Bunny.
I do love those Mises, and I'm glad they got their cheeses by the end.
So, in a beautiful block it was, wrapped in red ribbon.
Absolutely.
Well, with the synopsis out of the way, and a tremendous job again, Randy. Thank you. Let's get into why we love this movie so much. Before we dig into the themes and celebrate some of the finer points of it, let's talk about the ways in which we've interacted with it in our lives. Amanda, we'll start with you. What's an early or important memory you've got connected to the Muppet Christmas Carol? Do you associate it with any relationships in your life?
I do. I do. For me, it's very much a family film because the first time I saw it, my mom always has a tradition and a habit of playing nothing but Christmas movies when just Christmas 24/7. This is where I get my Christmas energy from, is my mom. She's not a Halloween person. Thanksgiving, she fusses about the turkey and stresses probably more than enjoys it. Christmas is her time. And so one of my earliest memories is just the Muppet Christmas Carol came on as it was playing in kind of a marathon of movies. And my sister and I were like, it's the Muppets. And we just sat down and started watching and loved it. Loved it. I was like, oh, hey, it's what's his name from Jaws. Like, there's your deep cut with I think it was the third Jaws or the fourth one that he was in, because he was the boyfriend of Brody's widow. And I was like, he's charming. I like him. And we sat down, we watched it, and I loved it. Fell in love with it. And it just became one of those traditions growing up where it was part of the Christmas staple. And when I moved out and had my son, that was one of the first things I did. It's one of the first movies I put on for him for the Christmas holidays. And it is something that he and I watched since he was small, since he was like a baby. And he just grew up watching it with me. And then it turned into, Mom, are we going to put on the Muppet movie? You haven't put it on yet. We got to put it on. And I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And we play it while we're decorating the tree. Brandon's a big fan as well. In fact, he was like, oh, y'all couldn't do this on Friday. I'm like, no, no, you'll be fine. But he loves this film too. So it's one of the first movies that we watch. In fact, we're probably going to watch it. Seth will be back with me next week. We're going to watch it next week together. And it kicks off the holiday season for us. So we gather around, we decorate the tree. We have Christmas goodies and snacks and food and make hot chocolate and watch the movie, sing all the songs. And so for me, this is very, very much associated with family. And I'm glad that Seth finds joy in it with us right now, because I feel like just the innocence of children is just seeing it through their lens just makes it even better than when you see it as a kid.
So true. So true. I love that. That's beautiful. And I love the idea that you guys are singing the songs together. Randy, what about you, bud?
Oh man, I feel like this movie has just always been a part of me. Realistically, I guess I was 8 when this movie was released in theaters. I'm fairly certain I saw it in theaters, but not 100%. This film released on December 11th, so it was exactly 2 weeks before Christmas, so it was a tight window. I have this very faint childhood memory of like seeing the Muppet Christmas Carol like up on a marquee at a movie theater. I can't remember if I was actually walking into the movie theater or walking past it, but the Muppets in my mind were still like this thing from television or this thing from the past. My mom was an early adopter of VHS recordings. So like we had all the Muppet movies taped off of television on VHS. It was probably like the Muppet movie and Star Wars, and then it was probably like some random Disney movie from the 60s, all like squeezed onto the same VHS tape. So to see it like in a real movie theater was so cool to me. But my favorite memory of the movie is actually from 2 years ago. And this is after many years of watching this with friends and family, in middle school, in high school, in college. But listen, 2 years ago, this is hard to remember, but we still kind of had COVID on the brain more regularly. My household tends to host a big Christmas Eve party. And 2 years ago was the first time we tried to expand that party back out beyond the immediate family a bit for the first time. We brought in the guest list. Psychologically, we're trying to wrap our minds around it. And like December 23rd, my youngest son, like he's got a little bit of a cough. And we're like, oh no, because we're still feeling like very uptight about what was going to happen. So we wound up getting him a doctor's appointment early the next morning, just so we could like give everyone the information, give them the peace of mind. Like if they didn't feel comfortable coming, we were going to let them stay home. So this was just like a safety precaution. But then we get his test results back, and it turned out he had strep throat, and he was going to be considered highly contagious for like 24 hours. So we had to cancel the entire Christmas Eve party. None of us could go. My lovely sister like moved the festivities to her house on short notice for the rest of the guest list. And we got stuck home alone on Christmas Eve instead of having the party. My youngest son was only 3, so he didn't really care. But my older son was super bummed out because he loves a party. He was super excited for this. He had kind of sort of watched the Muppet Christmas Carol with me before, but he's sometimes a little bit resistant. If I show too much excitement for something, he wants to be in the driver's seat of what we watch. And like that night, we put the 3-year-old to bed, and I was like, "Hey, bud, do you want to watch Muppet Christmas Carol?" And something clicked. He was down for it, and we just really connected and bonded over it. I could like see it taking hold for him. Like it was this really special thing we got to do on a day that did not go the way we wanted it to go. And now he looks forward to watching it, and he wants to watch it as close to the actual holiday as possible. And I think it's because it really gives him those feelings.
That's so special, man. It's amazing how there's a purpose and a reason, right? What a beautiful reclaiming of that night and a special memory you guys now share. I absolutely love that. That's the holidays right there.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, what a way, as Kris said, to make something that was the challenging day turn into just something so special. And it's those moments I feel like our kids will remember. Those quiet moments. It's the moments we think they're not always going to remember. Like, that's what I love about when I think about my dad, is just the times I sit there and watch wrestling with him, just chilling, relaxing. And that was our thing. And now you guys have this, and what a beautiful story. I love that.
And a great movie for it. A great movie for it.
Yes.
1,000,000,000%. Kris, how about you?
Yeah. I don't have a super specific early memory attached to this other than it's always been in my life. Like just the general idea that this is what you watch at Christmas, amongst other things, but always this. I don't think we had it on VHS or on DVD, but it's always on. This was all I knew of the Christmas Carol as a kid. Like how accurate or inaccurate I couldn't tell you, because for me, this is the definitive version. Outside the novel, outside of any other depiction of this story, this is the definitive Christmas Carol. More recently, though, similar to you, Randy, it's become an important part of time I spend with Kennedy, and similar to you too, Amanda, right? This is now like, you mentioned, Amanda, the way Christmas, something you've always loved, takes on new life when you start seeing it through the eyes of your child, right? And I've always been a sucker for Christmas magic. I believe in Santa Claus. And so to now be able to share that with Kennedy, who's only 5, makes it all that much richer, that much more magical. She's been watching this since she was little, and she's always loved it. Cheeses for Mises, all the little things make her giggle, but she's always been a creepy kid too. And so Scrooge himself always worked for her. Like the moment he steps on screen scowling with his big eyebrows, she thinks that's hilarious, and she wants to know more about this guy. What's been fun this year in prepping for this pod, of course I had to rewatch, and she watched some of it with me. I don't know if you guys experienced this with your own kids, but she's at that age now at 5 where there's like things from her earliest years that she has forgotten and are now coming back. So watching her watch it this year was almost like she was watching it for the first time. There was things that she was having like the aha, oh yeah, I remember moment. And there's things she was clearly processing afresh with her like fresh, more mature brain. And so I just can't wait to keep going down that type of rabbit hole with her, experiencing this film and other holiday classics for the quote unquote first time, even if she's seen them before.
Yeah, I think Seth went through that for a bit. I think the first time we saw Nightmare Before Christmas again, and he was about like 6 or so. He snuck in and watched it, and I was like, "You're not supposed to." And I was like, "Okay, we'll see how he does with it." But he was like, "Huh, I saw this before." I was like, "Yeah, you did." you did. And he was like, huh. Like Jack was just completely fresh. And same thing. We also watched the Mickey's Christmas Carol version, like the older version. The with
Shout out to Bill Bodkin.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And so same kind of thing would happen. He was like, even when we first watched Muppet Christmas Carol, and he was like, huh. But it was fun watching him just like, oh yeah, and just like the first time. So I hear that.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Well, obviously we're all lovers of this film. It's been an important part of our holiday tradition, but we're not the only ones. As Randy said at the beginning of the pod, this is like a pretty ubiquitous holiday experience. So what do you think it is about like this film that seems to capture the spirit of the season so dang well? Amanda, we'll go to you again.
I think right off the bat, it's the Muppets and the choice of the Muppets they use, because, when the movie came out, Randy brought up, they were on TV. There were the movies. I feel like the Muppets were still relatively fresh and out there, and people just came in with this, oh, we know who Kermit is. We know who Miss Piggy is. Like, they're just these iconic, we know who Gonzo is. Most everybody's going to know who Kermit is in some way, shape, or form. Even if you ask somebody today, they are going to know who Kermit is. Maybe they won't remember where he came from, but they're like, oh yeah, the frog in the memes is probably what you're going to get at this point.
Yeah, he's like Mickey Mouse. He's
exactly, exactly. He's pop culture. He's a pop culture icon.
Totally.
Same with Miss Piggy. And so I feel like you have the Muppets already in your favor. I also think a lot of it comes down to Michael Caine as Scrooge. Yep. I think his Scrooge, and I'm sure we'll talk about it too, but his depiction of Scrooge is very different and a lot more warm, I think, than a lot of the other Scrooge versions that are out there, where they're usually like very scowling and very, there's a lot of emphasis on the grumpy, mean Scrooge. And sometimes even with CGI or whatnot, it gets a little intense for kids.
Oh, yeah. Grumpy CGI Jim Carrey is scary.
Scary. He's terrifying. Seth, we had it on, I think for 5 minutes for Seth, and he was like, no, I am not. I didn't really want to watch it. Brandon was like, well, we'll give it a shot. And I'm like, Seth was like, not for me. Can we put back Muppet Christmas or Mickey? And it's just, I think you just have the sense of warmth. You have well-known characters that go across generations. And I think that's why this really works. I think this telling of the Christmas Carol is the most warm one that's out there.
Yes. Love that. I love that. Hey, speaking of scary Scrooges, up in Jefferson, New Hampshire, there's a little theme park called Santa's Village. Have you ever been here, Kris?
Yes.
Have you been on the Humbug ride?
No.
So they have the Humbug ride, and it's one of those indoor rides where you've got like a little laser gun, and they're like these cute little humbugs on the wall, and you're quote unquote, like tickling them. Like you're tickling the humbugs. You get a score. You can compete with the person next to you. And they revamped this ride 3 or 4 years ago. Like they gave it a whole nice new like building and facade. It's got like an air conditioned ride that it never line waiting area that it never used to have. But they put an Ebenezer Scrooge into the ride, and there's like an animatronic Scrooge, and he's got one of those old timey like bug repellent sprayers.
Oh.
And my youngest son refuses to try this ride because he's terrified of this Scrooge that you have to walk past. We all love the ride, and we keep trying to get him to get over it, but he will just burst into uncontrollable tears every time. So we're waiting for next year.
Yeah. Oh, poor buddy. How dare they put a scary Scrooge in there and take that ride away from you all? Poor buddy. Well, I've got you, Randy. How about you? What do you think makes this such a perfect holiday classic?
Yes, and to everything Amanda said. And I will just say 2 things. Number 1, it is just so unabashedly earnest and loving. It's just bursting with this notion that we all need to love one another and that we are all capable of being better. And it just wears its emotions on its sleeve. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this, but I was doing a little research for a question I'm going to talk about later. And I did not realize that Paul Williams, who wrote the songs for this film, when they made this film, he had just uh, come off of a stint of rehabilitation. He was struggling with alcoholism and drug use. And I was reading all this stuff about like how he was feeling his own new lease on life and like just this desire to get a fresh start. And that really like leaked into the lyrics of the songs and how much he wanted like the best out of life. And that was really cool to read today because I see it and I feel it. Um, and that might be one of the places where that earnestness came from, which was really cool. I have one other slightly more personal one, which is I mentioned watching this film with friends over the years. My senior year of high school, I became a drama kid for the first time. And I added some new friends to my friend group. But at the time, my high school would put on A Christmas Carol, the musical version, not the Muppet musical, but every 3 years. So the school was well stocked in all the Victorian costumes and dress, had all the right backdrops to purchase, all the storefronts, the props. It was a really great production. And the Muppet Christmas Carol is like clearly drawing from the same year's worth of like costumes and props. And like this movie looks like my high school theater set. So I think about watching that movie with like friend of the pod, Maria Giddings, my friends Sandra and Jen. Not sure if they've ever listened to the pod, but we watched a lot of movies together a lot, including Muppet Christmas Carol. So yeah, it's like it captures this old timey feeling and yeah, for me it ties into that whole theater experience and friendship and family and companionship. So yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah,
How about
that's
for you?
beautiful. I mean, the story itself, right? To your point, it is on theme, right? The idea that kindness is a great power in this world, that we all need to give and receive love. The way this movie brings that to life in such an effective way, though, I think really does live in the magic of balancing tone. The songs are joyous and they're wonderful. The lyrics, to your point, Randy, really do capture the spirit of the story. But this film isn't shy about the sadness that can come with the holidays too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's that balance of tone. I mean, Christmas is a light in the dark, quite literally, right? It's this festive celebration at the darkest time of the year from a seasonal perspective. The reason we need love, the reason we need kindness is because it's all too uncommon in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so Scrooge doesn't just promise, in this film, Michael Caine Scrooge doesn't just promise, with the words of Dickens, of course, to be better now. He's going to try and observe Christmas today and keep it with him all year. Right, that's the attitude that's underlying this film, is that the values we celebrate on Christmas Day are the values we hope to live out all year long, and often fall short. Right, we let others down, they let us down, but on Christmas we celebrate the best of us, and this film does that tremendously well. You'll weep with Scrooge at the idea of Tiny Tim passing. You'll wish none of us had to live through this, even if it's just a theoretical future. And you'll laugh with the Ghost of Christmas Present in his joyous bombast. And this movie does both so tremendously well without one ever undermining the other. And that's the holidays. The holidays are a wonderful time, but they're a deeply feeling time.
Kris, it is the season of the heart, a special time of caring, where the ways of love are made clear, you know?
I do know. I don't know how you come up with those words, but they were beautiful, Randy.
You know, they just struck me. Speaking of love, this is usually the point on the podcast where we do a signature media lit thing and we force our guests to try to find a flaw in this thing that they love. No one's ever been more pained by that than our friend Amanda Rivas when we challenged her to find a flaw with 1994's The Crow. But Amanda, it's Christmas time, so we're all getting a Christmas present. We're not going to try to find a flaw in this perfect movie.
Yay!
We're just here to have fun. We're here to celebrate. So we're going to play a little game instead. As you know, Media Lit loves a draft. We love a game. So Kris and I have developed a little special holiday game to honor the Muppets, to honor the spirit of adaptation. So what we are going to do tonight is we have each picked one of our favorite live action Christmas movies, other than Muppet Christmas Carol, of course. We are going to draft Muppets to form a cast for a hypothetical remake of that film. Now, this is a pretty popular internet exercise. Take a movie, keep one character, make everyone else a Muppet. But we're going with a slight variation on that. We're going to truly pitch a new conception of the film. So rather than just keep an existing actor or actress, we're going to cast our Muppets and we're going to cast a new performer into a role. And that's going to be our approach to this. So before we get into the draft of it all in the order, I'm just going to ask everyone to tell us which film you are going to be drafting Muppets into tonight. I'm also going to ask you to tell us the 5 roles that you deemed most essential to your vision. We could be here all night if we cast everyone. So I challenged everyone to limit that cast list to like the 5 most essential people. So Kris, can you let us know what you're going to be drafting tonight?
Tonight, I'm really excited to build my cast for Muppet Home Alone.
Yeah.
Or as my daughter lovingly calls it, Kevin.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've selected 5 roles that I think I can get the Muppets into. Do I have to tell you now who's a Muppet and who's human?
No, you get to figure that out based on the flow of the draft. You might have a strategy that could go in different directions.
I will be filling the roles, of course, of Kevin McAllister.
Mm-hmm.
I will be casting the Wet Bandits, Harry and Marv.
Yeah.
I'll be casting Buzz. Because I need to know that we're going to get Buzz right. No matter who else we get right, I need to know we're going to get Buzz right. And last but not least, certainly not least, Kate McAllister, the matriarch of the family. We got to make sure we get her right too. So those are my 5 roles: Kevin, Mom McAllister, Harry, Marv, and Buzz.
Kris, is this film approved by the American Dental Association?
We're working on it.
We're working on it. All right. That sounds like a blast, Kris. I can't wait. And I fully agree with your casting. Obviously, there are some key folks like Marley we would love to get in there with more time. But I think you made the right picks to really capture the spirit of this film. Amanda, what will you be drafting tonight? And what are the 5 roles you deemed most essential?
So, first of all, Kris, great choice with Home Alone.
Yes.
The coffee creamers are out there now. They even have their own coffee creamers. I'm here for it. Will I pick some up this weekend at the store? Yes.
Yeah.
But my choice is one of my other favorite Christmas movies. Love this film. Cracks me up every time I see it. That is a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Because to me, yes, people love the OG National Lampoon's Family Vacation. I enjoyed it. It was great, but it was Christmas Vacation that hit home for me. And of course, my 5 essential roles. Obviously, you got to have a Clark Griswold, because now as an adult, I'm like, man, I get it. I get it, Clark. I get it. You can't go without Clark. I also feel like you can't have Clark without the very patient, wonderful Ellen Griswold. So have to get her. Mm-hmm. You need these 2. Absolutely. And of course, who makes this film even better? Cousin Eddie. Because he just, because, pardon my French, but the shitter's full. I mean, you just have him with his bathrobe. But yeah, with my draft choices, I think any of these, I have my strategy, but any of my picks, well, I know who I'm going for Cousin Eddie here. You have to have an iconic villain. Who, with Fruitcake Central over here, giving out jam subscriptions. Gotta have Mr. Shirley, so had to cast him. My fifth choice was, I had to think about it because a lot of times with the structure of this film, a lot of the other supporting characters come in pairs. Even, Aubrey and Russ, they come in and they're in a pair, So I was like, who is the character that really drove things forward and changed the tone of the movie? And to me, that was that conversation that Clark has with Ruby Sue changes the game and his perspective. And it shifts from my family's annoying to being here to let's make this a nice, a wonderful Christmas, because look at Ruby. Like, she just was, how Santa gonna, that scene was really, in a way, in the middle of this great comedy, you have this very heartfelt moment of this poor child who's like, Santa's not going to find us. Like, where are we get? She's the game changer in this. And I think reminds everybody what the Christmas spirit is really about. So that's why Ruby Sue rounds out my fifth role that I'm drafting for.
Iconic. Perfect.
Yeah, such a smart choice, because that's what's going to make it feel like a Muppet movie, because there can be zaniness, but you need a central heart in that movie, and Ruby Sue is going to do that for you. I love that. Awesome choice. As for me, I'm going to go with A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out. This was a favorite. This was a favorite in my home growing up. My sisters and I, we wouldn't like watch it for 24 hours straight, but we would almost always have the TBS or whatever it was rolling with A Christmas Story. We would quote it. If we weren't actively watching it, we'd call everyone over for the cold flagpole scene to watch that tongue get stuck. And then, if we stepped away, we'd be back for the leg lamp. It's a major award.
Fragile. Must be Italian.
It must be Italian. Yeah, it's beautiful. I really wanted my choice to be Die Hard. I really thought that was what it was going to be. But as I tried to envision this conception, every solution I came up with to replace the violence with something cute just got more and more convoluted. And it was like, Die Hard works because I watch a man walk barefoot across broken glass. I don't know that I can really make this a Muppet movie and keep that film the same piece of art that it is. So definitely a Christmas movie, but I thought I could bring something out in A Christmas Story that I wasn't going to be able to pull out Muppet-wise. So that's where we are. Now, as for the rules, we predetermined our draft order. Amanda will be drafting first with the first overall pick. I will be drafting second. Kris will be drafting third. He might be able to use that to his advantage. Who knows? Maybe he'll pick his two wet bandits, but maybe not. We'll wait to see what happens. We'll wait to see what that draft board strategy looks like. We are going to draft 4 Muppets. And then in the final round, we are going to explain what our remaining role is and who the human actor is going to be, who rounds out our cast and explains the film. We're going to try to stick to our standard traditional cast of Muppets. However, I have given everyone a free pass to go outside of the standard set if needed. So we might get someone from the Sesame Street gang. We might get a Fraggle. Heck, maybe we'll even get an Emmett Otter making an appearance in here. But we will see. We'll see who makes it into the cast. Guys, any questions before we dive into round 1?
No, sir, Game Master. Ready to rock.
I'm ready.
All right, Amanda Rivas, you've got the first pick in the draft. Who is the first Muppet off the board?
Oh, man. So clearly, Christmas Vacation is built around the adventures of Clark Griswold. So I have to draft my main guy first. And that's going to be the OG. That's going to be the OG himself, because I know he's going to go off the board fast. One Kermit the Frog, please.
Had to be.
As Clark Griswold.
I love it.
Had to be. Number 1 overall pick.
Had to be. Because Kermit just has that perfect blend of moments where he can channel Clark's sensitive side, where he's open and vulnerable, that vulnerability. But Kermit also has that awesome comedic timing. And he has that level-headedness to balance out who I'm looking at for my cousin Eddie. So Kermit just is so well-rounded, like Clark Griswold is so well-rounded, and yet expresses anxiety. like Clark Griswold and do
Right.
that. So
A little frantic sometimes.
exactly. So that's my number one draft pick. He's my Justin Jefferson right now, according to my fantasy football. That's my number one draft pick for our Pop Break League. Justin Jefferson. So he is a Justin Jefferson of my team. So Kermit the Frog, welcome to my Mandalorians.
Absolutely perfect.
Now, I envisioned a different first move from you, but I love this one because you're right. Kermit wants the best for everyone. He wants everyone to have a good time, but he can also scrunch up that little froggy face and make us feel that anxiety. So yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. All right, second pick goes to me. I've got to draft A Christmas Story. And at first I was a little bit nervous because I was like, how am I going to manage the age difference here? Oh, you know what? I never told you who my main parts were for this film.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't think you did.
So I guess I'll just quickly tell you the 5 parts I decided that were most essential are Ralphie, of course, the central character who would like a Red Ryder BB gun more than anything else. I've got the old man, Ralphie's dad. I've got Mother. Despite the fact that I've seen this movie possibly hundreds of times, I never realized that Ralphie's parents don't have real names anywhere on the cast list. They're just the old man and Mother, which was wild for me to have not realized. After that, we've got Ralphie's little brother, Randy. I can't put my arms down. So we're going to cast a Randy into the cast. The last one was tougher because we've got this series of vignettes. A lot of people come in for like one impactful moment. I thought about focusing on the flagpole, but we can do that tongue gag with just about anyone. So I thought a more essential part would be my department store Santa Claus, who gives Ralphie so much hope only to pull the rug out from under him and push him down that slide with yet another chant of "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." So that's my cast.
Ho.
Now, part of the charm of that movie is, we're looking back on the 1940s. We've got this adult voiceover, which is delivering a lot of the humor, right? It's a lot of emoting from the actors. And then the voiceover verbally comes in to tell us why it's so funny, what people were really feeling. I decided my Muppet version doesn't need a voiceover because we've got Muppet rules here. We can lean into some of that insanity. We don't necessarily need the narrator to jump in. This is going to be a more modern telling of the story. I don't think we're going to be quite as bound to the 1940s here. We're going to keep the main gags and storylines, but we're kind of modernizing this for a different audience. Give it some new legs. We're not trying to replace the original. So if I'm going to make this work, I've got to take a character who is often under pressure to be reserved and composed, even when she's losing it. I've got to cast my mother first, and it's got to be Miss Piggy.
Ooh, good choice.
It's got to be Miss Piggy because sometimes we get to see her struggling to keep her emotions below the surface. But in my version of this movie, she's going to get her moments to let that Miss Piggy energy out. No one does it better. We even see it in the Muppet Christmas Carol where she's trying to keep her composure around the awful treatment her husband Bob Cratchit gets from Ebenezer Scrooge. So Miss Piggy as the mother is my number one pick. Kris, you're picking on the turn. Who are your picks?
I think I am going to go ahead and secure. I'm going to get my Harry and my Marv now. I'll do my Wet Bandits here on the turn. I get back-to-back picks. The reason I'm hesitating is because I actually found myself somewhat deep in these two roles. I have 3 potential pairings for Harry and Marv. And so I'm considering securing Kevin first. But then I'm jumping ahead a little bit if I go for Buzz after that on the turn. And I don't want to miss out on... All right. Wet Bandits. Harry and Marv. I'm going with Gonzo and Rizzo. It's Gonzo in the role of Harry, and it's Rizzo the Rat in the role of Marv, right? You need Gonzo playing the grumpy straight man, and you need Rizzo as his very frustrating, always on his nerves, but can't quite see what the problem is sidekick. I wrestled with this quite a bit. Perhaps when we're all done I can reveal who my other pairings were, so I don't steal any draft picks from you guys now. But I picked these two because they're such an iconic pair. Because I think when it comes to the physical gags, there's no one more fun, right?
Yeah.
And so each time they encounter one of Kevin's traps, these are the Muppets that I want reacting. These are the Muppets I want getting frustrated with each other, but yet persevering together, right? Together to the very, very end. So give me Gonzo as Harry. Give me Rizzo the Rat as Marv.
What a great start to this draft.
Solid.
Yeah, I thought, Amanda, there was a chance you might go with Gonzo as Cousin Eddie with your first pick. I wasn't sure.
I almost went there, but I think, and I'm glad I picked a backup because I think my backup will be very effective as well.
Good. Glad I didn't steal anything too important from you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think with like the big name Muppets, I think we all got one of the most important central Muppets and like properly cast into the movie that we're trying to create. So what a round. It's interesting here because I picked A Christmas Story. I was excited about it, and I've got like my favorite Muppets. I have a couple of favorite Muppets who are still on the board, who are like bigger names, but I'm looking at my cast list and who I need. So I'm actually going to leave some really favorite Muppets on the board right now, just because I don't think I can put them in my roles perfectly.
You can't just cast the celebrities. You got to cast the roles, you know, it's tough.
And the beautiful thing about this just for fun draft is if I leave some great options on the table, it only makes your drafts better. So I'm going to kind of go with the wild card here. Because my central character is Ralphie. Yeah. I need someone who's going to work. And this one's tough because this is a kid. I want to cast a Muppet. There are so many cute options, right? You know, I considered Bean Bunny. I considered Nephew Robin. They're both great. At the same time, I love those two. I want it to them, but Ralphie's got to be more than cute. He's also got to be able to like really convey a lot of emotion, annoyance, frustration. And there is a more recent Muppet who's not my favorite of all time, but who won my heart in the early 2010s in that iteration of the Muppets. So for my Ralphie, I am going to go with Walter.
Yeah,
as my Ralphie.
Good choice.
The question from that film is he a man or a Muppet? But he brings a youthful energy. He reads as a kid to me. And I think he can bring both that earnestness and that frustration. He's got a similar mouth structure to a Kermit the Frog, so he can emote some of that emotion and frustration. So yeah, Walter as Ralphie is going to be my number 2 pick.
Good choice.
Yeah, good choice. Absolutely excellent.
And I mean, even if eventually, if you decide to put a little bit of narration in, he can do just fine doing that too.
Great call.
Exactly. I love
that. Versatile pick. Nicely done.
All right, Amanda, you get 2 in a row.
Ooh, oh, good. Because this, you were stressing me out a little bit with some of the names you were throwing out there. I was like, no. So I'm actually going to I'm going to change things up with Ruby Sue a little bit because I know in Christmas Vacation, Ruby Sue was female. I think though my choice for this, I think this particular Muppet can emote the same emotions and make the role universal because I think you need a performer or a Muppet that is going to, regardless of gender, emote and give Kermit that same energy, that heartfelt moment, the earnestness to turn things around. And actually my Ruby Sue, I'm going to call Ruben Sue, is Bean Bunny.
Yeah.
Because the first time when I thought about the part, all I could see was Bean Bunny like, hello, and like just kind of dejectedly just Muppet Christmas Carol Bean Bunny, and he's just the cutest thing ever. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever you want for Christmas, Bean Bunny, let's go to the store right now and go shopping. You will have whatever you want. But Bean Bunny just has that sincerity, that childlike innocence, and really just your heart breaks because you're like, well, yeah, what's happening is not really fair to this poor child. And so I'm changing up the traditional role, if you will, and I'm bringing Bean Bunny into the fold. So that is one of my picks. As soon as you said Bee Bunny, I was like, no, my strategy. He was the only one I had no backup for. Bee Bunny was my star there. I am going to cast Cousin Eddie as well. I knew Gonzo was going to go, and great choice. I think Gonzo is actually a better fit for the physical comedy for Chris's for Home Alone. Straight up. For me, you got to have somebody with the big personality, but who's also very sincere and heartfelt. I'm going to go with my Pepe the King Prawn.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think he brings that chaotic Cousin Eddie energy to the party and has a big personality. Can I see him standing there with the sewage draining it into the tank? I could. I could see so many of these crazy antics happening with Pepe because he just is that zany and fun, but also just adorable and sincere. And you know that the intentions are good, even though things go crazy. And so Pepe is my choice. He's my Cousin Eddie. Because I mean, he's a little guy, but big personality, big heart.
His depiction in Muppet Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite parts of that film. Great choice.
Yeah, beautiful pick. All right. No, I think you nailed both of those picks, Amanda. You've got a perfect vibe. And yeah, Pepe can do it all. And he's one of those Muppets who has carved out the space to push the envelope a little bit more. Like he can push to the slightly edgier humor than some of the others are allowed to reach. So yet another reason to make him Eddie.
And you inspired me by when we had the conversation about who is on the list, because I went back to, do y'all remember the documentary, the Muppets documentary, where they tried to do one back, I think it was 2015 or 2014, where they did like an office styled documentary. Yes. And it was a little bit more geared towards adults and a little bit more like, edgier, like kind of, again, trying really hard to relate to adults more than kids. So, and Pepe was a little like, I was like, he fit right in to the mold. He's risque. He's risque. So, gotta have a little bit with Cousin Eddie. He's crazy.
I absolutely love it. Great picks. These are coming together beautifully. All right. I'm gonna cast my personal namesake next, the Randy character from A Christmas Story. Now this character essentially just has to be a pain in the ass. He's got to be whiny. He's got to be annoying. He's kind of like all id and what he wants in the moment. He's kind of helpless at times. And I was having a hard time picking exactly the right Muppet. So I know it's going to be a slightly different take on Randy than we get in the original film. But when I was thinking through all the Muppets, who is the most sort of id driven? Who is just going to say what they're thinking, regardless of how it makes the people around them feel at any moment? Who might just really amp up the frustration in the room for other people in opportune moments, but who we can still kind of love. And I've got to go with the one and only Animal as my Randy in A Christmas Story. He is going to be the little brother desperately trying to keep it together and often needing to be soothed by his mother. And since I've got the martial arts master herself, Miss Piggy, as mom, she can go toe-to-toe with Animal when he becomes unhinged. She might be the only Muppet who can go toe-to-toe with Animal when it gets physical. So, yeah, Animal as Randy.
Ooh, good choice. I just have this vision of Animal. I can't get up in his own way. Like I fall and I can't get up, like just waving around trying to get up from the snow and it just being hilarious.
Or he can't, instead of he can't put his arms down, he's in like his little animal straight jacket type situation. They sometimes try to put him in. Unhinged Randy. I love it.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Great pick. I'm devastated. I'm devastated as it comes around to my pick now.
Oh no! Did I take your Kevin?
Animal was my Kevin.
Wow!
And as you're describing Randy, I'm thinking that that's probably how the cousins and siblings would describe Kevin. These are all the same ways that Kevin is misunderstood by his family.
But now I almost feel guilty.
Don't. This is the point of the exercise. I was going to ask for forgiveness, not permission, though, to use the Muppet Babies version of Animal.
Ooh.
I'm not picking that, but I'm just talking it out. I was going to say this is the Muppet, the Puppet Muppet debut of the Muppet Babies version of Animal, because on that show, they really take the time to explore the ways in which he's misunderstood and he feels badly about being misunderstood. He likes to play the way he likes to play. He's loud and he's aggressive and he's messy, but he's full of heart and he loves his friends and he wants to be loved too. And so Animal was going to be my Kevin. He's a great Randy. Randy was a good pick. I'm glad you got him. And I have a backup. It's okay.
All
It's
right.
okay.
Drafts can never be perfect, right?
Well, you know what? I hope that when the film comes out, everybody agrees this was for the best. Because you can keep Animal. I'm going to bring in a different furry red monster. I'm seeking an outside the box option from our main Muppet cast.
Yeah.
And of course, going to stop by 123 Sesame Street, give a knock on the door, and see if Elmo's at home.
Yes.
I want Elmo to be my Kevin. I think that this is really going to challenge. It's going to challenge Elmo. He's a good boy. But have you ever seen Elmo Saves Christmas?
Yes.
Elmo can cause some mischief by accident too, because at the end of the day, he is an excitable young boy. Yeah. And he once ruined a whole year for an entire city, the entire world, I think, by wishing every day could be Christmas. So I love that this Elmo can also make a wish that he would never see his family again. And we're going to play that out with him. So I'll take Elmo as my Kevin McAllister. I think he's going to have a lot of fun setting traps. I think his traps are probably a little bit more innocent than Animal's would have been. However, I think that Gonzo and Rizzo would have known how to handle Animal. I think they're going to be stymied by this adorable little monster.
Yeah.
We'll never see it come.
Great choice. That is a solid pick.
Amen. And can I yes and you, Kris? You mentioned a property that I've actually not seen, I don't think. I don't think I've seen that side of Elmo. However, are you aware of the rivalry between Elmo and a little rock named Rocco?
Oh, Rocco's just a rock. Okay. Don't try to convince me otherwise. Rocco is just a rock.
Because, I mean, Elmo is a good boy, but he can emote annoyance and frustration. Yes, and existential despair very well when he needs to. So this is going to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I initially struggled. It was hard for me to picture Elmo, even at his grumpiest, saying the things to his mom that Kevin says to his mom when he's most hurting. But we're going to challenge Elmo as a performer, and he's going to have to get there.
Sure.
Okay.
They might get softened for Elmo a little bit.
I think we can find a way to make it work. All right, I'm picking on the turn. I've got I'm going to go with my last Muppet here. I'm filling the role of Buzz. I needed somebody. There aren't a ton of bullying Muppets. There aren't a lot of Muppets that go out of their way to give other Muppets a hard time in the same way that Buzz does Kevin. So I was thinking outside the box, and I found my way to the blonde, cleft-chinned pig with a high opinion of himself, known as Link.
Yes.
Throb.
Yes.
He is the not so fearless captain of the Swine Trek Enterprise from
Pigs in Space.
Ladies and gentlemen, bring in Link Hogthrob. I think he would make a tremendous Buzz McAllister for us. And it even allows me to justify getting Miss Piggy in the picture frame for Elmo to pull out and say, Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof. Because they've got their own little thing going outside of Miss Piggy and Kermit. She's got a real flame for the Hogthrob. So, give me him in the Buzz role all day.
Absolutely beautiful stuff.
That was solid. That was a great pick. I actually considered him for one of my spots as well.
All that unbridled machismo.
Yeah.
I am having such a difficult time right now, Kris, because one of the most important Muppets has not made it into any of our films yet. And I love this Muppet. I'm not skipping him because I don't love him, and we will shout him out at the end if he doesn't go. But I'm not going to go with the top most expected Muppet here, because I am down to the old man and the department store Santa Claus. And quite frankly, I always knew the old man was going to be my human actor in this film. So I've got my Santa Claus left, and I've got a long list of possibilities, people who I thought might be fun. I've gone back and forth over a few of them. This Santa Claus in the movie, this department store Santa, is a little bit of a jerk. He's not necessarily like the most pleasant, happy Santa Claus you've ever seen. So I thought about leaning into that. But again, this is a Muppet interpretation. So we are going to get a little tough love from my Santa. But I also want to use him as an opportunity to get like a really important Muppet back into the mix, someone who can speak some truth, and have fun with it. And it's a Muppet movie, so I need a place to get my sing-along going. And there are only a certain number of Muppets who are expert musicians, where I can kill two birds with one stone. I was trying to picture who I could imagine in a Santa Claus getup, who could be convincing and lovable, but still have that little edge when he needs to. So my department store Santa is going to be the triumphant return of one Rolf the dog, who has not really been performed since we lost Jim Henson. And I know that is partly out of respect for Jim Henson, but we've brought back many Jim Henson characters. And I think bringing him back in a loving way is something I would certainly love to see. And having him come back as a Santa with just a little bit of an edge. It's not going to be a cruel scene the way it is in the original. It's just going to be a telling it like it is scene, because Rolf is a good boy, a kind guy, a loving guy, but he can tell the truth. He can speak the truth to someone and see some potential pain. And just the image of him dressed as Santa is working for me. And that's my department store Santa.
I love it.
Perfect. Shout out to Rolf. So glad he made the draft.
Yes.
Amanda, you can hit us with your last Muppet, and then you can give us your human cast member.
Okay, so my last Muppet is for Mr. Shirley, which was tough in a way, but not necessarily. I'm going to kind of ask for forgiveness for this one, because I have to cast, if I cast one, I have to cast the other. And the first that showed up in mind for Mr. Shirley, I'm going to see if I can get a Mr. Shirley's, because I feel like Statler and Waldorf are my guys.
Permission
and
granted.
I'm like, okay.
Permission seconded.
Because I'm like, I know it's cheating. I got an extra person, but I can't draft like one or the other. I was thinking of like the tons of fruitcake jokes and the fact that they were going to be joking around about like, oh, the jams, ha ha ha, playing with each other. Just the sheer comedic humor of these two with the slight like sinister, like, haha, I'm over you, I'm your boss kind of edge. I mean, I'm like, I can't pick between them. They just have to go together. They're a duo, and they're the perfect duo with the witty humor for this part.
You're keeping with the great tradition of the Muppet Christmas Carol, right? Yeah. Jacob Marley becomes Marley and Marley. You got to
exactly.
No, not only is it approved, but I think it's the correct answer. It's too perfect. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. So I knew Ellen Griswold was going to be my human choice, because I'm like, I can't envision Kermit with anybody. I actually was one of the people that was like unhappy when he was in the love triangle and the mockumentary. Did I watch both seasons? Yes, I did. And I was like, it's so weird not seeing Kermit and Miss Piggy together, that I'm like, okay, I can see him. And Miss Piggy, doesn't always, she can be patient, but she doesn't always have the Ellen Griswold level of patience. Like, you have to have a monumental amount of patience to deal with everything that Clark does and the family, everything the families do. So my human performer, I chose her because I feel like she can project that really patient energy, but also be really charming and really fun and light up the room and be a great support for Clark and the family and keep things level-headed, but she knows how to have a good time. The perfect person for me is Amelia Clark for Ellen Griswold.
Love that.
Yes.
Just that $1 million smile, that $1 million smile. Just she has the best energy. And I went back to her in Last Christmas, which I love.
Oh,
Love, love,
yeah.
love. I love her in the movie, and she's capable of bringing the dramatic moments to the table, as we all see with Game of Thrones, right? But
Mm-hmm.
being just really fun and very sweet, and I think just she feels like somebody that could be like your best friend and encourage you when you're having a tough time. And I feel like she and Kermit would have very genuine chemistry. Like they would play off each other well, the comedic timing. I feel like again she'd be a great support for him and vice versa. Like I feel like she would genuinely emote being happy around the Muppets too. And that's something what I love with the human actor choices when they do interact with the Muppets. Like that's why I love Michael Caine so much, because you feel that there's this joy and this genuine, I like interacting with the Muppets. They see that they're seen as like not just here's somebody in a suit that's controlling the Muppet. It is you're in the mode.
It's a
And
character.
I feel like exactly. And I feel like Amelia Clark would do that so well with Kermit and be very earnest with her performance. So that is my human performer.
I can see the tableau, and I always loved like Kermit with a leading lady is always
Yes.
a good combo. Even if Miss Piggy is not present, you can feel the jealousy in the background, and it's part of the meta story. So I love it.
Yes. Yes. And I think Amelia Clark can handle herself against Miss Piggy if she had to.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to my human choice. Listen, like I love A Christmas Story. Ralphie's great. The cast is great, but the magic of that movie is the old man,
Yes.
even more so than Ralphie. And what's great about the old man is he both captures this sort of old school, scary by the books dad, like don't mess with him. He not only captures the exasperated, frustrated, I've got to fix everything, the neighbors are driving me nuts energy, but he also has this almost Muppet like earnestness, where he's so proud of his stupid freaking lamp. He's so genuinely, honestly proud of it. He can't even see why it's so shocking and embarrassing in the eyes of his wife, or why she would not want this thing in the window. He's just purely proud. He purely enjoys the holidays. So I need someone who can go very light, who can go very dark. I need someone who can make Ralphie scared when he needs to, but who can believably snuggle up to Miss Piggy and give her a little peck on the cheek while the kids open Christmas presents. One actor jumped into my mind instantaneously when I started envisioning this. And I was like, Randy, do some research, think of some other options. But I couldn't quit this one guy because I think he's perfect and he's proven himself more than most actors in both the comedic and the dramatic realm. So my old man is going to be Bryan Cranston
Yes.
as the old man. Because he can do those things. He can snuggle Miss Piggy and he can terrify poor little Walter.
Great. Oh,
Oh.
dude. Yes. And he can
Thank
totally
you, thank
snuggle
you.
Miss Piggy. He would be committed
Mm-hmm.
to snuggling Miss Piggy. He's a great performer.
1,000,000,000%.
Oh, your film came together so well.
Thank you, thank you.
Grateful to be drafting in such wonderful company. That leaves it to me and my human character. So for the podlings keeping track at home, I've got Mama McAllister, Kate McAllister herself, left on the board. And like Amanda, I knew this had to be my human character. There was never a doubt in my mind. She is, in many ways, the emotional center of the film, right? Kevin is on his adventure, and she's on her own. She won't leave the airport unless it's on a flight, right? She's going to do whatever it takes to get home. Mistakes are made. She's not depicted as a perfect mother. She's depicted as a real mother. She says some things she regrets. She does some things she regrets. And that's before she leaves her son at home. But you never stop feeling for her as a mom. And I needed an actress who could do both, who could be so charming like Catherine O'Hara is, that even when she's not being empathetic enough, when she's saying the wrong things, when she's misunderstanding her child, when she's leaving the house without getting an accurate head count on her own children and leaving the country, all of those things, you never, ever hate her. And that's much to the credit of Catherine O'Hara as a performer, as a charming performer. And then she gets so much of her own stuff to do throughout the film. And my movie is going to be likely a near shot-for-shot remake of the original.
Nice.
And so I need her in the van on the road trip with the polka band, right? Maybe it's the Electric Mayhem, maybe in this case, filling in for the John Candy role, but I knew I needed this to be human. I needed the person who meets Kevin at the end of the film, who stands there across the room, silent for a second before they fall into each other's arms. I needed that to be a human. And so I didn't think about this for very long. Inspiration struck the moment I began to exercise, and like you, Randy, I never looked past the first person who came to mind, and it's Emma Stone.
Oh, good
She
choice.
happens to have red hair, sure. She's brilliant. She can be all these things. She can be lovable and daffy and fun and totally accessible. She can be hard and scary and mean. She can be erratic. She is an emotional actor with a command over her entire spectrum and can oscillate from one to the other easily. She also happens to be the exact same age today as Catherine O'Hara was when she made Home Alone.
Hey.
So we're gonna take Emma Stone and stick her right in there. She and Elmo are gonna have a blasty blast, and they're gonna take this movie to $1 billion.
Absolutely love that. Guys, I think we nailed it. I think we made pretty perfect Muppet remakes. The only thing that's put me in a little bit of emotional turmoil is like I hate the fact that none of us took Fozzie Bear in the drafts.
I know.
I couldn't fit him in. I almost put him in the Buzz bit just to have him in the cast, but it wouldn't be fair to him to make him Buzz.
He was almost my cousin Eddie. Because he does have a little bit of the kind of chaotic sometimes, but accidental. But I was like, he's just too good natured, and I can't. Cousin Eddie's kind of a raunchier, like a raunchier character. That's why I went with Pepe, because he can handle that raunch.
But to the Fozzie stands out there, we love him too. We love that
we
bear.
do.
He's a great dude.
My favorite Muppet as a kid, hands down, no questions asked. My favorite Muppet as a kid. I wanted to tell bad jokes with rubber chickens so bad because of Fozzie Bear.
Oh, waka.
I used to call my sister Fozzie Bear because she would do this. She's gonna hate me for telling this story, but there you go. When we were little, she wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And so our fireplace had a little kind of a little ledge that she could step on. So she'd make us sit around and listen to her jokes while she stood there with her microphone and everything. They were bad. They were so bad, but it was so cute. But they're so charming about it. So I was like, you remind me of Fozzie.
That's so sweet.
And then my mom was like, you should get another job. I was like, Ma.
Look at your mom like, waka waka.
Yeah. That's why my sister was like, she killed my stand-up dreams right then and there. But she's still my Fozzie Bear, so.
That's great. That's great. Do you guys want to know who I was thinking of, my backups for Statler and Waldorf? For Harry and Marv. Certainly Statler and Waldorf were the third option. Glad I didn't take them, so you could have them, Amanda. But I was considering a subversive, maybe I think it's subversive, Bunsen and Beaker in the Harry house.
I would have been okay with that.
Odd couple energy, one short, one tall. We'd have to have Beaker working with a dialogue coach. You know, it'd be tough. That's all.
Yeah, that would have been a good dark horse. Yeah.
I could have made it work. I think that's a good choice, though.
Not bad guys by any means. In the Muppet Christmas Carol, you get them as the charity collectors, right? They're like the polar opposite end of the spectrum. So that was kind of where I started from. But yeah,
no, I love that. Actually, one of my subversive thoughts, Kris, was one of my concepts for Randy. Was if he had been on the board, I was considering going like really in a weird direction with Pepe the King Prawn. Just bringing his like drama king sort of energy, like his own brand of annoying to the role of the little brother, and like probably like some metafictional humor, like refusing to do the lines the same way as Randy in the movie. But Cousin Eddie was a great pull. I think that was the right choice. So beautiful.
Totally.
All right. We did it, guys. Thank you for playing that little game. I had a blast.
I had so much fun. Randy, thank you for that gift.
Yes.
This holiday season. But with that fun done, we can keep talking about the homework assignment it's time to get into the media as literature part of this Media Lit podcast. But before we get too deep into the themes, let's have a little bit more fun, I suppose, because we just drafted a ton of Muppets. We talked about even more. But I'm curious if either of you has like a favorite deep cut Muppet or background cameo Muppet appearance in this movie, in the Muppet Christmas Carol. Amanda, we'll go to you. You're nodding vigorously.
Oh, it hands down, it's my Swedish chef.
Yeah.
All the way through with the singing. It's like, oh, the food sings. He's like, kind of doing his whole.
Borgity.
That's really good. You know, Brandon, hear that one. Yeah, he does his own. He'll walk around still, and I'll hear him like, and I'm like, are you doing the Swedish chef noises? And he's like, yes, judge me. I don't care. And it's spot on. And I'm like, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, thank you. You can't not have the Swedish chef in this movie.
Perfect.
That's my deep cut.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna jump in next, actually, because I got a Smuggle City on this one. I was gonna
love it.
I was gonna go with everyone you see at Fozziwig's Feast, and you see the Swedish chef there.
Yep.
Thing at Fozziwig's Feast. You get Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, featuring Ralph the dog on piano. Not usually touring with Dr. Teeth and the gang, but there he is. And so, yeah, that whole bit. You also get a young Statler and Waldorf there at Fozziwig's Feast, heckling from on high, but with dark hair, which I think is like creepy and so fun. So yeah, I was like, Smuggle City, aka Fozziwig's Feast. Give me everybody who appears in that sequence because it's either a version of them you don't often see or somebody who isn't elsewhere in the film, and I love that sequence.
Absolutely.
Randy, what about you?
Yeah, just a quick honorable mention on the flip side of the spectrum, the aged up Sam Eagle and Fozzie Bear in the closing moments of the film.
Very end, yeah.
Very cool. But listen, as is often the case with me, there's just like a quick setup to my pick, which is about a year ago, I appeared on my first socially distanced podcast where we picked our favorite doctors from Doctor Who. An obsession was born, and here we are today. I was so excited about that I pitched a story to Bill Bodkin where I wrote a little like review of Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor because I did not want her forgotten as we stepped back into the world of David Tennant. And then I had a taste for the writing, and I didn't know Bill Bodkin very well. And I sent him a message and I was like, hey, Bill, would you have any interest in me writing a weirdly obsessive story about the television special Muppet Family Christmas from the mid 80s? And I knew we were going to be friends after that because he was like, hell yes, that sounds incredible. I love this kind of thing. So yeah, about a year ago, I wrote the most important thing I'll ever write, which is the top 10 reasons that Muppet Family Christmas is the best television Christmas special of all time. Now that came out in the mid to late 80s. I got to fact check myself. I think it's 1986, but in 1992, a couple of key puppets from that special show up in this film. In the opening intro to London, we're meeting a lot of singing food and whatnot. And there is just kind of like a mindless gobbling turkey that pops up out of the set at one point. But this is the very same puppet in a Muppet Family Christmas who plays the street smart, wise talking turkey who gets invited to Christmas dinner by the Swedish chef. He's wearing his little like paperboy cap. He's got sunglasses. He's putting the moves on Camilla and gets into a whole fight with Gonzo. And more importantly, he convinces the Swedish chef to try to cook Big Bird instead. You want a Big Bird to cook? How about him? So to see him just pop up out of a basket with the waddle going is great. We also get the snowman that becomes Fozzie Bear's comedy scene partner in that TV special. So my favorite TV special getting 2 shout outs, that's my deep cut. And quite frankly, the origin of this question, if you didn't figure that out just now.
I had a feeling. Usually there's a rhyme to your reason.
For sure. All right, folks. So we love the Muppets. We love the deep cut Muppets. But it's really our favorites that are the starring forces in this movie. I think most people would agree that part of the genius of this film comes down to the fact that we have Gonzo and Rizzo stepping into this narrator slash audience surrogate role. There are so many great performances here, but that seems to be the trick that makes this work. It allows them to like walk that fine line between drama and heart and comedy. That's a very media lit sort of balance. But I wanted to turn to my fellow podcasters here and ask you why you think that decision was just so smart. Amanda, why was this a master stroke from the creators of the film?
Well, right off the bat, Gonzo and Rizzo have the best chemistry, period.
Mhm.
Their comedic timing is perfect. They are great at telling stories and selling stories, and they work as a pair. And if you're going to have like the quips like that, okay, Mr. Dickens, like kind of they quip off each other, and their comedic moments don't take away from the story either. Like that's kind of a nice change of that's something I appreciate. Like, sometimes when you have comedic duos, it tends to overshadow if there's a side quest happening. Sometimes it overtakes the main quest. But here, everything works in the sense that their jokes are well timed. I think they are a big part of what keeps this film light and keeps it from being very heavy. The parts are very well written. I do love Gonzo as Charles Dickens because he's so sincere. And when he does break character, it's very minimal and it keeps you in the story. And Rizzo is there. Like it cracked me up with the whole thing. We went to go get the jelly beans. And instead of climbing over, he just went through the fence. Yeah. Those little moments, those little comedic touches are hilarious, but they don't detract from the story. And they really just, again, keep the warmth. They just keep the warmth and the good energy going. Because again, we know we've seen different variations of A Christmas Carol, and we've read them or whatnot, and they can get very heavy and dark. Here, they keep it light. And it's also, I think, done in a way that our younger audiences can understand as well. Kids can keep up with it, but it's still enjoyable for adults. So they were the perfect choice. So I don't think I could not envision anybody else doing it except for Gonzo and Rizzo.
Yeah, I think you captured that perfectly. Kris, what are your thoughts on what makes this duo so special?
Yeah, I mean, so they both break the fourth wall, right? But they're doing different things because one of them helps to ground our suspension of disbelief in the world, right? Gonzo as Charles Dickens and insisting the whole time and never breaking that he is Charles Dickens helps us then accept all the other Muppets in their roles. I guess like with famous actors, you fear that an actor could be too big for you to accept them as whatever it is they're trying to portray on screen, right? And these, we talked about like Kermit the Frog is a pop culture icon. So it would be so easy for this to feel more like an SNL sketch where it's like, yeah, they're like being the characters, but also they're being themselves being the characters. And that's mostly not true throughout this film, but it starts with Charles Dickens. So he might break the fourth wall and they might have comedic moments, but Gonzo stubbornly as Dickens, even as Rizzo challenges him on being Charles Dickens. Like, no, dude, I know you. You're my buddy Gonzo. He's like, no, Charles Dickens. And that's extremely
There's
important.
There's a mole next to my left thumb.
Yes. Yeah. And the film validates that, right? When he claims to be a totally all-knowing narrator, he is. Like, he is Charles Dickens, right? And he speaks the language of the story to us, which helps to legitimize the whole operation. Yeah, some of the dialogue is delivering right from the book, but Gonzo is delivering right from the text. And then Rizzo on the other side of the conversation, yeah, he's breaking the fourth wall, but he's our audience surrogate. He's doing it in a way that for us is like winking and nodding at how odd this shared experience is that we're all participating in.
Kris and Amanda, I think you captured like the brilliance of these two characters. The only thing I would add is putting Gonzo into this role where he is taking the story more seriously than everyone except for Michael Caine. That was quite a message to the audience, right? Because usually Gonzo is the guy who was like, I will fire myself through 12 flaming hula hoops and land in a pile of chickens. So to have him be the serious one sent a subtle message to the audience. And I love that. And of course, it just the comedy duo clears the way for Michael Caine to just cook on a dramatic level. So there you have it.
Yeah, really well said. And I'm glad you mentioned Michael Caine, because I think that's the other stroke of genius in this film, right? It's the casting of like great actor Michael Caine. Not only is he an incredible performer in his own right, but I think it's legend now, right? The quote from him where he said he was going to play this thing dead serious. He doesn't give even the slightest hint that he's aware of the sort of inherent absurdity of the world that he's in. So what are some of the moments that you all can pull out of his performance where he gives that subtlety, that nod to how very real this all is happening around him? Randy, we'll start with you, bud. You never get to go first.
Yeah. I mean, he kills it from the get-go, right? He pops around that corner and we get that striking silhouette. So like the physical body language is there at every moment. He can be as mean as possible. I mean, he throws a wreath at Bean Bunny. This is my second time mentioning that atrocity on the podcast. So he's willing to go there. I think my favorite, like, sort of mean moment from Scrooge is when we're in that office where he is just really taking great joy in torturing everyone. He delivers all sorts of terrible lines, but at one point he says that foreclosure season is harvest time for the money lenders. And then he gives his own little, like, almost Muppety cruel smile. Like he knows that he's being bad, like he's enjoying it. He's delighting in it. But then on the flip side, like that flip switches so naturally to him being earnest and honest and vulnerable. And he's doing something with his face where his eyes always look watery, like he's about to burst into tears. And every time he's feeling something, I believe it. And I feel like I have felt that emotion before. So yeah, just perfect acting on both ends of the spectrum, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, it's like he's done this before. Yeah, from the first moment you see him right around the corner. Amanda, what about you? Anything really stand out on a rewatch?
What I really love about Michael Caine's performance is he gradually transforms. Like he's not, what I don't like about Scrooge sometimes is he's mean and then, oh wait, I'm here at the third ghost. I'm going to die. Okay, now I'll be good. It's such an abrupt change that I'm like, is that really going to last though? Like you didn't really care about the other two ghosts at all. Whereas in Michael Caine's performance is so subtle that you gradually see him opening up to where when he ultimately gets to that point at the end after the third ghost, it feels so sincere. And to me, it really struck when he hit the second ghost, the ghost of Christmas Present. Because, he's there, they're singing the song and he's actually dancing too. Like he's engaged in the conversation. He's like, oh, I get this. And you don't see that, I feel like, in the other Scrooge depictions. Like they hold fast to being hard-hearted until the very end when they're pretty much their lives are on the line at this point. And that's what I love about Michael Caine is he makes Scrooge, yes, he's mean and grumpy. And I still get the whole thing in the office where he's like, how would you like to celebrate on the unemployment line? And then we got the island in the sun. Oi, oi. Like it just, I had to do that
wave.
one. Heat wave. Yeah. But he could go from yelling and being kind of with the gold tooth, like showing too, that whole snide smile, to being very warm and likable, where you're winding up rooting for Scrooge, that you want him to change because there's that potential there. And that's something that only Michael Caine brings. I like that. That's the only Scrooge actor that I've seen that has that nuance that's there. And that's what I love about Michael Caine. And there's such a sincerity throughout his performance. And again, he's working with Muppets and he's not looking at them as Muppets. He's seeing them as characters, as fellow beings. And it's just like he's working with human actors.
Fellow beings. That's really well said. Yeah.
Yes. And so I love Michael Caine in this. This submit to Michael Caine is, I'm like, I hope you're like as wonderful as you are in this movie in real life. Cause I feel like I just think you're like the best person ever because of this movie.
Between this and Alfred Pennyworth, right?
Yes.
He's just like, you want him to be your grandpa.
Yes, exactly. Like adopt me, Michael Caine. Adopt me.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned the Ghost of Christmas Present because that's where I was landing for this one. When I was rewatching, he's just transitioned out of feeling devastated about what he's seen in the past. He had said goodbye to Belle for a second time by reliving that memory. He fades right from that conversation into his lonely chamber, and then he hears the Ghost of Christmas Present. He walks into that room and he's a little befuddled, and he's overwhelmed with the presence of this ghost who keeps repeating himself. And the first time the Ghost of Christmas Present asks him, "Did I say that already?" Michael Caine is sort of looking around. He says, "You did, yeah." Like he delivers it in a way that I don't think it was scripted that way, but Michael Caine delivers it in a very honest, very, very real way because he's living in that moment. Because this Scrooge just reconnected with his younger past self. This Scrooge just was at Fezziwig's feast again. So even if he had that devastating walk through his memory with Belle, he was first reminded about like being young and seeing children at play and seeing the feast and connecting to a version of himself before all the hardness. So he's already beginning that he's chipping away at that hard outer shell so that by the time the Ghost of Christmas Present makes his joke about being a large absent-minded spirit,
Yes.
Scrooge smiles and he laughs. Like he doesn't derisively laugh. He doesn't sneer. He's not smug. He's genuinely amused. He is open-hearted and open-handed for this spirit that's before him in a way that we haven't seen him all movie. And from that point forward, to your point, Amanda, and then he's singing the song as he's beginning to change, and his performance becomes that much more nuanced, which with every scene that progresses from there. And then I just wanted to shout out, he breaks my heart after witnessing old Joe the spider.
Yes.
Purchasing Scrooge's goods after he has died. Man, Michael Caine looks at the Ghost of Christmas Past or Christmas Yet to Come, and he says, "Show me some tenderness connected with this world."
Yep.
Right. He said that's going to haunt me. Michael Caine in that moment is heartbreaking, and he's not doing a lot. The voice is subtle. The eyes are subtle. He is broken, and it breaks me too.
Yes.
I love that, Kris, because we almost get a little like setup for him to love the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yes.
Because when we get to Fezziwig, this had never hit me so hard before, but when I rewatched for the pod, he's like, "Oh, that's my old boss Fezziwig," and he goes on about like what a shrewd businessman he was, and he was such a hard ass basically. But we see him be nothing but pleasant. So it's almost like Scrooge is realizing like, "Oh wait, like I can be a businessman, but I can also be full of love. Like why didn't I see this? Like clearly this was a big part of who he was as well." Yeah, great stuff.
Oh, so good. So good, you guys. It's funny. I was thinking about Kris, you brought up the Ghost of Christmas Present. What I really liked about the end of that journey together, as we know, the Ghost of Christmas Present is aging and I always like how he looked like Santa Claus with the whole look. But just that sincerity in his, "Must you leave me now, spirit?" Like,
he's enjoyed him so much, like his new best friend. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I love this. Like, you don't get that with any other Scrooge. Any other.
Yeah.
Chef's
And the
kiss.
spirits. Yeah, plus the spirits dying. Yeah, like I'm going to live for this one day. Oh, yeah, I think until the clock strikes 12, but it's been good. Meanwhile, like Ebenezer Scrooge is realizing how precious time really is in that moment. And how could he have such a positive attitude to be so present in the moment? So, folks, I noticed we're getting kind of deep. We're getting kind of emotional. We're really getting down into our feels and our feelings. We've kind of started this exercise that I want to start right now, but I was thinking maybe we could each share just like one more moment of heart that really gets us. And at the same time, maybe you can also give me just one of your favorite like filmmaking techniques or pieces of evidence that like this film, it's not only artistic emotionally, but it's artistic technically in the execution of the film. Kris, I'm going to pay it back forward to you, and I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Thanks, bud. I'm really glad you did because I'm going to go with a moment that I hope was subtle. Right at the very end, after Scrooge has transformed, he's giving lots of things away. In his wealth, he's now found generosity. And that's a beautiful blessing to people to give gifts. It's also a blessing to allow folks to give you a gift. And when he makes his massive donation to Bunsen and Beaker, and they insist we must give you something in return, he's gracious. He's not here to protect his reputation. He doesn't refuse. There's no false modesty. No, I couldn't possibly. Beaker hands him the very red scarf from around his own neck.
Yep.
And Michael Caine's Scrooge accepts this thing like it's just the most precious gift he's ever been given. He can't believe a gift for me. Even as he's learning to give, it's still a fresh revelation, further swelling his heart that somebody would give him a gift in return. Doesn't matter that it was worn, that it's a simple red scarf. I believe he's going to cherish that scarf for the rest of his days on this earth. And again, I was like, there's other like sadder moments in the movie, but in terms of like really pulling on my heartstrings with the theme of Christmas, the theme of the spirit of the season, it's there with that red scarf for sure.
Yeah.
And I can give you my cinematic moment as well. Super straightforward. This movie is doing a bunch of cool stuff. There's a really beautiful shot during that song you highlighted, Amanda, with the Ghost of Christmas Present. It Feels Like Christmas.
Yes.
The Ghost of Christmas Present shrinks down. The camera goes inside the mouse's home, and he shrinks down to be the same size as them, but then the camera pans so you can see Scrooge looking in through the holes in the bricks into their little home, which just is a tremendous sense of scale that it gives you. It helps to enhance the magic of all that's happening. So yeah, I love that shot of him shrinking and then us getting the perspective of Michael Caine looking in from outside.
Gorgeous work, man. Amanda, how about for you? What's one of your favorite emotional moments, and then one of your favorite moments of technical mastery or filmmaking?
So it's funny, Kris, you picked that moment because that was my pick as well.
Yeah, come on.
Seriously, because there's just something so cool about you have this very open scenery, this bustling, busy city. And then you have this little, like, straight out of, I don't know, kind of reminding me of like a dollhouse. Like just straight out this tiny miniature table. And here's the little Mises hanging out and the tiny cheese and everything is so cinematically perfect. It's such a big shift from the larger landscape to this very tiny, straight out of like a painting type of moment. And even just the way that the nook in the wall is shaped where Michael Caine is looking through, like those little details were so beautiful. But I figured, I was like, if somebody doesn't pick that one, what I really enjoyed was just even the opening sequence where you have the busy, bustling town. And to me, it's incredible because of how much work you have with all the different Muppets that are going through. And you have to be able to coordinate all that movement without, like, how do you hide people from being underneath? You have all these moving pieces, and yet you still are able to pan out and capture kind of the dirty, dingy city and the setting and the feel, but you're having so many Muppets move. You have the carriage, like horse-drawn carriage going through. You have fruit, you have turkeys going. It's chaos, and then you have these little still moments with, Rizzo and Gonzo like selling their apples. You have so much moving in that piece, and I'm like, how many people did it take to put just that incredible opening sequence together that sets the tone for the rest of the movie? So I went from very small to also very big, because it's a lot of coordination there.
Yes, I love that. No, I almost just bundled all the musical numbers into this pick.
Yeah.
Because there are humans walking through there too. Yeah. So they're not getting away with some miniaturized set that they're tricking us the scale. There's a real human walking through while there's also the Muppets. And it's like, yeah, where are the strings? Where are the people? I don't understand. Brilliant.
One of the many joys of a Muppet movie is just seeing the way they can fill all of that physical space with just interesting things and little details. Whether it's how many Muppets are there or just like the physical details, the costuming. The Muppets have great fits, like right down to Rizzo's little Gryffindor scarf there.
Yes.
Like they're looking great.
Can I dare say that Rizzo has a lot of Riz? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, can you be dripping with Riz? Is that right? Or I'm not good with the terms. You'd think hanging out with teenagers all day, I'd know him better, but
you did better than me. I just was like, he has got Riz. You were like dripping with Riz. That's like I feel like an up, like not, you just don't have Riz. You have like more than Riz.
Yeah, I think you showed the contextual understanding and deep comprehension of the word with that usage, Randy. Well done.
Let's go with that. Let's hope I'm right.
Yes. So my emotional moment before I forget, because I'm like, my mind just went straight into I'm just like reliving the whole, like, wow, that's so pretty. The moment that gets me is the first moment where I really feel sorry for Scrooge. And that's the whole sequence where they go with the Ghost of Christmas Past. And they're in the classroom, and she's looking at, Scrooge is seeing himself, and she's like, you were a lonely boy. And he was like, well, every year was pretty much about the same. It's like all my Christmases were all the same. Like he didn't go home. He didn't. And it's the wistfulness and how he says it. Well, they were all very much the same, that I was like, oh, like this lonely schoolboy, in this room, and just the painful acknowledgement of your loneliness as a child and how that impacted you down the road, and being forced to you were lonely, but then you have to like acknowledge that you were lonely, was hard. I think for me that opened my heart for Scrooge, because up to that point, he was not very kind. He was, I was mad at him throwing the same thing with wreath at Bean Bunny. I was like, man, if you could throw a wreath at Bean Bunny, I don't know, there's no hope for you. I don't know. Like they might not have redeemed him for me. And then watching this part, I was like, I get it. Like you have this wall up because your pain started so small. And I think, growing up as a younger kid, I was picked on a lot, like in elementary and middle school. And just there is that sense of loneliness. And I could relate to that in a way. So I felt like, this hit. And just the way Michael Caine, very simple delivery, but they were all very much the same. And seeing that look of realization, and trying to put the wall up to protect himself from those emotions. There was a lot in that moment.
Yeah.
When she says, but you changed.
Yes.
They were all very much the same. You changed.
I'm all here to drink my water. So I'm going to start crying thinking about that.
Well, speaking of tears, my emotional moment was going to be the one we just talked about. Let me see some tenderness connected to this world. So instead, I'm just going to cheat and smuggle and say everything Tiny Tim related, from his little labored walk to the way he pronounces the word goose, like he's running out of breath. The goose, but he's so happy. But hands down, the number one thing. Someone should go to prison for how emotionally manipulative this was, because it's just so instantly tear jerking and like painful but beautiful. The little scatting walk with Kermit and Tiny Tim walking down the street, doing the reprise of One More Sleep Till Christmas.
Yep.
Just scatting the perfect father-son relationship. It's almost overwhelming. It's so emotionally moving.
Yeah. To your point, you're almost mad at them. It's almost like,
Well, and that hits harder with the whole, here's the future. And Dad's been walking a lot slower. I'm like, man, that just hits harder after that scene. That just hits so much harder after that scene. It's beautiful. Even the camera work on that is beautiful too.
Yeah.
Because you get the full length Muppet, but that just hits. That hits. I was like, you guys just decided to break me. Do I tear up every year watching that? Yes, I do.
'Tis the season to be jolly and joyous.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote down, Randy, you almost took the words out of my mouth. I wrote all the Tiny Tim stuff, his life, his death, his innocence. Because it's not just that he's sick. It's not just that he's dying.
Yeah.
His hopefulness, his optimism is sad, right? His strict adherence to the meaning of this season is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, the Bless Us All song, and even like him having the emotional intelligence and maturity to like calm his mother when she's like really winding up to dig into Scrooge. like he's the one stepping in to resolve it. Like you see his role in that family. It goes much deeper than being cute and adorable and loving. He makes them stronger.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast. I have no doubt.
Mhm.
Sorry. I love that mustard. But for the technical element, just the special effects. This movie has aged like a fine wine. It looks incredible. And when I think Muppets, they've been innovating with, I'm not a special effects expert, but they've been innovating with different things like green screens and things since their inception, figuring out how to get it to look like Kermit is riding a bicycle on screen. They're always innovating. Marley and Marley look incredible. They've just got that opacity turned up. And I was really zeroing in on how they mixed that effect in with moments where they are just real puppets, who have been painted and prepped in those colors. You've got the real physical chains wrapped around Scrooge, and it just all pulls together beautifully. And to this day, I don't know if I've seen any other being or creature put on screen that haunts me like the ghost of Christmas Past from this movie.
Yeah.
The way that cloak
It's like a
is
Doctor
just
Who villain.
glowing and hovering. Yeah, like it's so spooky. I haven't seen a character that looks that like beautiful and terrifying and like the ultimate little girl ghost, and like you trust her but you're scared of her, and
Her
she evokes
voice,
a
too.
child that died young, and she speaks with all that like innocence but also so much authority. They are what they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good
And do
choice.
not blame me.
With her
Yeah.
blue eyes, creepy.
But yeah, it's
When even like
haunting.
her little
Yeah.
hand like moving towards you, I'm like,
Yeah,
Long hand.
yes.
terrifying but beautiful. Yeah, like I haven't seen that little like wispy cloak effect look that good in anything else when she's just floating there.
I'm glad you called out the special effects because, like, when Scrooge swirls with the ghost of Christmas yet to come,
Yes.
the swirl from the
Mm.
graveyard into the rainy
Mhm.
streets of London, they walk through that portal. It looked perfect, crisp,
It-
clean, real.
Oh, great
Well,
choice. Great choice, Randy.
Good stuff. Thank you, friends. Thank you for getting emotional. I'm glad we can also celebrate some of the technical stuff, but let's not forget that Muppets are really stinking fun, right? Like we might be in a rundown London, but we're having a blast. So yeah, we talked about this film as a really great blend of tones. So I would love to hear some of your maybe favorite a favorite bit from each of you, a favorite laugh, a favorite gag that's in the movie. Amanda, we'll start with you.
Rizzo and the cat.
Yeah.
That gets me every time. It's like, Rizzo, leave the cat alone. It's just chasing Rizzo. It's so great. Still cracks me up every time I see it. Rizzo, leave the cat alone.
Excellent. Excellent. Randy, you got the gag?
Oh my goodness. So many. Amanda did shout out the jelly beans earlier, but I just also want to point out that it's like a whole jelly bean saga. It's like a multi-part bit. Because at first Rizzo's holding up the works, because he says, I had a little bag of jelly beans over here. And Gonzo's a little bit annoyed. He's like sifting through the snow. Then we get the whole dramatic like climb and fall over the gate. And then the moment that Amanda mentioned, he's like, oh, I forgot my jelly beans back there. And just the whole thing's great. In the middle, like you can smuggle in the joke before he jumps. God bless my little broken body. I've quoted that so many times. Yeah, that whole jelly bean saga might be my fave.
Yeah. Bunch of good falling gags, right? Them getting knocked off the windowsills repeatedly. Bunch of good falling gags for Rizzo and Gonzo. I'm ready to celebrate Miss Piggy here with my little gag.
Ooh.
I love that Emily Cratchit can't keep her daughters straight. She's got twin girls who are just like her. They repeat everything she says. And you'd think that would mean she like just totally unabashedly all the time only adores them. She actually seems pretty bothered by their very existence. To the extent that she can't even keep their name straight, and she's not that sorry about it.
They sass her back too. That's the funny. I think it's the even funnier part. They're miniature, literal
mini-me's,
miniatures. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But Tina, Belinda.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
And then as she's ranting about Scrooge, they're echoing her little rants and raves, and they're the perfect mini-me's to Miss Piggy. God help us all.
I love it. I love it.
Just for the true fans, please don't forget that we already talked about how much we love the light the lamp, not the rat bit, which I guess really is my favorite. I said it was the jelly beans, but it's a light the lamp, not the rat. The intensity
Rizzo.
there.
Yo, just grab the stick, Rizzo. Grab a hold of it. It's in the water, like just stirring him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Or perhaps simply Rizzo and food. I'm here to
Yes.
tell you the Charles Dickens classic tale, and I am here for the food.
Yep.
I'm creating
Charles-
scarcity. It drives the prices up.
Ah,
It's tough message in 2024.
Oh my goodness. All right. Any other smuggles of fun bits people want to sneak in there before we move on? I already smuggled like 7.
they were the best ones.
Yeah, we
We got them all. That's the best part. We called them
Beautiful
all out
stuff.
with love, and it's the best part.
Thank you so much. Oh, hey. Did you guys notice that this movie is also a musical? We've talked about the songs in passing. We've quoted some of the songs. We've talked about how moving the music can be in this movie. But I was just hoping we could each pick our favorite song from the film. And Amanda, I'm going to give you first pick because you are our guest, and I think you deserve this honor.
I mean, I love the whole soundtrack, but I mean, it's so good. But I got to go with the song that Seth and I and Brandon just burst into song every time it comes on, and that is going to be "It Feels Like Christmas." That is my jam. Are we dancing and like having a great time when every time it comes on? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it is to me the heart. To me, the season starts when I hear this song. It brings me so much joy. That is my pick.
Perfect pick.
That was nearly
On my
my
list.
emotional moment, Amanda. Like, there's that moment where like they step through the archway
Yes.
and the music really kicks up. And you get those lines that I quoted earlier about this being a special time of caring, the ways of love made clear. Yeah, it really fills the soul.
I
Great
was,
pick.
as you were saying it, the song was playing in my head. I was like, and I feel like you even said it in time. That's the best part with the lines.
I'm known for my musicality. What can I say? Kris, what's your top track or another favorite track if it overlaps with Amanda's?
No, I had It Feels Like Christmas on my list, but it was number 3. But now I'm scared because I can't pick. I'm gonna go with One More Sleep Till Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. I think I said earlier, I love this season. I love the magic of this season. I believe in Santa Claus, and I love sharing that with my daughter. And so I told you she's been watching this. She's only 5, but she's been watching this forever. We will sing this song any time of year. We will rework the lyrics of the song for situationally appropriate moments. But One More Sleep has become a shorthand for so many moments of anticipation in our lives together. One more sleep till we go to Maine. One more sleep till your birthday. One more sleep till Christmas. So I love this song. For me, it's like sets the tone for the year. I know it's Christmas time when it's stuck in my head and I'm walking around singing One More Sleep Till Christmas.
Yeah, another great pick. Listen, that's at the top of my list, even if I don't count the scatting scene where we get to reprise it later on. There's something magical about that, Kris. You know, it's like that shot of Kermit looking up at the moon. The stars are there. And like, I've loved Christmas my entire life. I waited for Christmas morning. I was the kid who was up at 4 a.m. watching my clock because I had like demands from my parents that I was not allowed to leave my room until at least 5 a.m. And I would sometimes be there for an hour or more staring. But I've also always known that sadness of the end of the day on Christmas. And you're thinking, oh man, 365 days. But emotionally, that Christmas Eve, that night before, the possibilities are there. That's the feeling you want to live in. And the song captures it.
Captures hope too. I feel like
well said.
Exactly.
Straight up, that shot at the moon just fills your heart with hope and joy.
But yeah,
I love
that's
that.
my
Great
all-time,
pick.
Oh yeah, that's my all-time fave that does it all. It feels like Christmas as I become a more emotionally vulnerable adult. I feel
Mm.
that one more and more each year. But my OG fave from childhood is going to be Marley and Marley because it's just so damn fun.
Yeah.
It's just a blast. I don't have anything much more sophisticated to say about it than that, but I love Marley and Marley. Such a fun bop for the kids in there, yet with some creepy chains. Yeah.
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 And such funny lyrics. That was the one that I was torn between. That was going to be my other pick if I didn't go till Christmas. So great choice.
Yes.
Statler and Waldorf never miss. And yeah, the descriptions of their wicked lives together on Earth as greedy men are just they're brilliant. They're hilarious. It's morbid, but it's delivered so funny.
And they play so well off of Michael Caine too that you could be a bit of undigested beef. Just just straight up like just the whole dynamic between them was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave the comedy to the bears.
Waka waka.
What a sick burn coming from the guys who have heckled the bear forever.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun. This is a great musical. It's a great everything. There is one song that we haven't talked about, we haven't quoted, we haven't referenced, and we didn't pick in that exercise. When Love Is Gone, the sappy, sad, heartbreaking lament of a song. This isn't in every version of the film. It was cut and unseen for a long time. It's been restored in certain at-home releases. It was supposed to be restored to Disney Plus, but that's not the version that I've seen.
Same.
So I'm curious, for you guys, do you watch The Christmas Carol with Belle's song to Scrooge or without it?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to watch it with the song. They did add the full version with the song in 2022. However, you've got to dip down to the special features and then select full length with the song. So you've got to dip down there to get it naturally pieced in. I want to hear Amanda's answer first, but I did a little deep dive, so I've got some fun facts to share. But I want to hear Amanda's thought, with or without the song, because for me, I like that sadness that I've got to sit through as a kid. I've got that little peek at my future and the emotions I'm going to have to process someday. I need that to feel everything else even harder. How about for you, though, Amanda? With or without?
So it's hard to find it with the song around here. Like I looked at Amazon, I looked like everywhere, streaming, like same thing with Disney. I was like, oh, and I remember there was a lot of hype that they were going to put re-release. So I'm like, let's go. And then I was like, not here. So as far as I know, at least here in Texas, I haven't been able to find the original or like the uncut version, which I would love to. I prefer it with the song. I mean, I've gotten used to watching it without it just by necessity, but the song I feel like really drives point the home, and it fleshes out the Belle character more, and you really get a sense of her heartache and her here's where I'm at. My heart is breaking, and just I think it just really drives home. It just gives an extra push to where Scrooge was. It really just drove the extra nail in with his character, his lack of growth in the relationship, and where his priorities were. It drove home that division, and I think really gave Scrooge a little bit more to work with, like the older version of Scrooge, to watch and see how the impact, reliving that scene from the outside, going, holy cow, my decisions really impacted her. I missed the boat on this one. She really loved me. And I think that was just the extra push for Scrooge to really, I think that to me, I feel like it's missing. The scene missing also cuts from Scrooge's opening up in character development, because I feel like after that song happened, he opened up more. And I think was more receptive and was more open to kind of the lessons that were being taught to him. I think it made him more open to embracing the ghost of Christmas Present because he went through that heartache, and you miss that when you don't have the song. It just is a weird chop.
No, it's a great point because I've never seen it with the song. I had never even heard that this song existed. I've literally never seen it, never heard of it. So when I was preparing for this and I looked it up to realize what it was, where it should have been in the film, it's quite glaringly obvious that something is missing, because even Rizzo and Gonzo are teared up. They're crying. And it doesn't make sense for them to be that emotionally moved by the simple words that were exchanged between Scrooge and Belle. Right? Like, we know the weight of it all, but that was no more moving in its words than anything else they had witnessed up to that point. So for them to be standing there next to Scrooge as he's crying, they're crying, I was like, oh yeah, there's clearly something missing here. And it's that wicked sad song that she just sang and they all heard. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just give you guys a super quick history of this saga? Because it's fascinating. So when they did their focus groups and screen tests for this movie, the studio execs observed that the kids were getting kind of antsy during the song, like they were losing focus. So they put a lot of pressure on Brian Henson to cut the song from the theatrical release. And, you know, he didn't go to war over it. He preferred it with the song in there for kind of the reasons we've been talking about. Like, you need to feel those hard emotions as well. And as a kid, you maybe need to be a little uncomfortable or fidgety with something. Like there's maybe some value in that. So it's not in the theatrical release. But we owned the hard shell VHS, which had this version with the song cut into it. So that is like my main version I think of. But then they stopped adding it to like DVDs and things. It was missing. And apparently they literally lost the original negative of that scene. It was literally missing for decades. When they started trying to put it on DVDs and other things and splice it in, it looked like garbage, because I'm not sure where they were trying to like pull the footage from. They described it as looking like there was just like a fog filter over the whole thing, so they would not put it in. They originally put it on Disney Plus as an extra feature, just the scene. And then in 2022, they they literally put money towards finding this negative. Like, they put a team together. In 2022, they found it. They surprised Brian Henson with it one day. They were just like, "Oh, come down. We just need you to check out this footage here." And they hit him with this piece of footage he had been looking for literally decades. And yeah, they added it onto Disney Plus. Unfortunately, to me, it's not the default version. You've got to click on the extras. And there's a separate link to the movie down there. It's not intuitive. It's going to default you to the no song version that was released theatrically. But yeah, it's down in there on Disney Plus. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned the songwriter Paul Williams was coming out of rehab here. And he literally calls this song one of his personal favorite things he's ever written in his life, because it meant so much to him emotionally. And he and Brian Henson just both had so much to say about even the process of this being the first time Michael Caine had really had to sing a song on screen, and how they wanted him to feel it more than sing it. And all the takes that it took, and they were just so happy with the performance, and they were even proud of the set and the dead trees and the fall colors, all the symbolism. So yeah, I felt like the song belonged there, but there was a cooler history than I realized. So thank
glad
you.
you shared.
Yeah, thanks for letting me put you through that little history lesson.
Oh, that was cool. I never heard that before. So, because I was like, why did they cut it? That's such a crazy cool story. I'm going to tell Brandon when he gets home.
Yeah, props to Entertainment Weekly and Vulture, who both had different in-depth stories that got updates in 2022 after they found the footage.
Cool.
Yeah, speaking of props, Amanda, we played this game with you before, back when we talked about The Crow, I believe, but one of our favorite media lit games is after we talk about a film or a television show, we like to talk about what a souvenir would be that we would love to take home from the set of that movie. Traditionally, we'll turn to our guests first to pick their souvenir that they're going to take home from the set. What do you got for us?
Oh, this is easy. I love tiny things, and I want that tiny dining set with the little cheeses from that
Nice.
with the little Mises on it, because that's one of my favorite. There's no cheeses for us Mises. Just straight up the most adorable things in this movie. And I'm like, again, obsessed with tiny things. I'm like, I would kind of build a little piece for it and just set it all up and just stare at it. It's so cute. I
Perfect.
can't.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Actually, I had the block of cheese that Scrooge gives at the end as a potential on my list. The little red bowed block of cheese.
Yes.
Great.
Oh man, I love that, Kris. Kris, what are you going to take home?
Oh, I talked about the prop already earlier tonight. It's the red scarf. It's Beaker's red scarf that he will gift to Scrooge, that Scrooge will receive so graciously, and I truly believe he will cherish for the rest of his life. I would love to cherish it for the rest of my life and have just like an adorable little place where it's on display. And I would always think about the spirit of both giving and receiving when I looked at it. So yeah, would love that little bit.
Well, Kris, as you know from past pods and even earlier questions tonight, I often can't help but start with a giant wind up to my point. But I'm going to keep it simple here. I just want my own Bean Bunny puppet.
Yes.
Just give me a Bean Bunny. Let me snuggle him. Let me have him. That's
I
it.
didn't know if a puppet
So
was.
our
I was
puppets
thinking.
on the.
I wanted the Ghost of Christmas Present. Then give me the Ghost
Okay,
of Christmas.
can I take
Present.
all the Mises home? I want to take the whole family of Mises home. I want them all with the table, and I will build them a little nook and be like, "Here, you guys will never go hungry. Y'all just have to like we will cut tiny pieces of cheese and break cheese together."
Listen, Amanda, I've got a plan for you. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
This is an audio podcast, but Amanda has a very cool podcast room. It's full of like pops, wrestling memorabilia. She's got some shelving units. My first thought was like, let's get the Mises on one of those shelves. But then I thought, no, we're going to cut a hole in the wall intentionally with intention. We're going to build in a little alcove to put your Mises and your cheeses so that when people come to visit, they got to like take a look in close.
Like
you're
a
going to have the
diorama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for this. I'm here for this. And it's got to have a tiny refrigerator so that way the cheese can stay cool.
Such a great detail. So important.
Yeah.
So important. It's a hard cheese, but it's still you can't have it getting
Can't have it.
bushy.
No one wants to get sick from worm cheese.
Oh my gosh. Amanda, I'm so glad that you came to join us for this very long night of podcasting. We had such a blast.
Hold on, Randy. Hold on real quick. Sounds like
you're
trying to wrap up
sure, Kris.
Sounds like you're trying to wrap up the pod. And I just need to stop you because earlier tonight, you gave us a lovely gift and we had a blast with our draft. But I wouldn't be Kris Kringle. It wouldn't be the spirit of the season if I couldn't give a gift back. So I had one last little gift of a question I wanted to ask you both, if that's okay.
Yes.
Amanda,
Please
we've
do.
talked about a ton of Muppets tonight. You've talked about your love for tiny little things. If you could bring 2 Muppets that you drafted earlier for your film back to your house to share a holiday feast with you, who's coming to the party and why?
Oh man. First of all, Bean Bunny. He's just the cutest ever. I'm like, how could I not bring Bean Bunny? He would be adored by my family. And just, I think nobody would probably be paying attention to each other. We just would all be staring at Bean Bunny, him just he'd like, here, eat all the food you want. You will never go hungry. You're not allowed to leave ever though. You're just too cute to go anywhere. You're adopted. You live here now.
Perfect.
The second would definitely be, so my family is crazy over the holidays. We are loud. We are nuts. It's a lot of laughter. We are crazy. And there's only one that can hang with the crazy in my family, and that is Pepe. Straight up. Straight up. I think he would just make us crack up even more. He'd add to the shenanigans. And he's just so sincere. And yeah, my dad would get a kick out of him and his like machismo a little bit too. Like just
yeah.
straight up. And I can just see him and Brandon having a great time. So
Perfect.
Pepe has to join the party.
King Prawn, come on down.
Yeah.
Excellent choices. Bean Bunny getting a lot of love tonight. Love that for him. What about you, Randy? Who's coming to your house for dinner?
Listen, I'm envisioning this as a dinner party. And how could you have a party and not invite the animal to your party, the ultimate party animal, the ultimate party man? He's going to enjoy all your food. He's going to let you know. He's going to bring that joy and energy. But Kris, I also have a selfish reason for inviting Animal because I'm a pretty tame party goer. Like as much as I appreciate Animal's big party energy, I want him causing a distraction. I want him keeping most of my guests entertained because I'm going to spend every second of this very special night sitting by the piano with my guy Rolf. I'm going to have an eggnog. I'm going to bring him all the drinks that he wants. We're going to talk about life. I hope he'll sing me some songs, and we're just going to kick back. We're going to chill. We're going to have this quiet, beautiful, perfect Christmas dinner together. Just me and Rolf, the man himself.
Great strategy. You've got a party ringer in Animal, which allows you to have a soulful night with a really soulful dog in Rolf. That's great. For me, I think it's got to be first and foremost Elmo. If I have access to these characters that I've drafted, how do I look my daughter in the face and tell her I didn't invite Elmo back to the house for dinner? I also happen to love that furry red monster. I love the Not So Late Show with Elmo, where he hosts his own sort of late night show format talk show. I love Elmo's World. So some folks, I think he catches some flack or has in the past. Finish it. Finish it.
Elmo song.
Thank you.
There's always like you can't not finish it.
And that's the thing. You might think you might chalk him up in a cynical way to being annoying. His voice, his referring to himself in the third person, the la la la's. No, it's all wonderful. He's a bundle of joy and pure innocence, and he belongs at my holiday table. Other end of the spectrum, I'm bringing Gonzo to the party. I think Gonzo is going to mix things up a little bit. I think when maybe some family moments get awkward, he's going to fill in the gaps and make us laugh. I also have an uncle whom I love to death. I don't play favorites with people in this world, but he's up there. My Uncle Mike. My Uncle Mike is known, if not so much for stunts, but for like, I once caught a little minnow while we were fishing, and I thought it was good for bait. He said, "No, it's good for this," and he swallowed it on the spot.
Oh wow!
He's the guy that jumps off the pontoon boat in Florida and gets the baby alligator and brings it back to the boat.
Wow!
He's the guy who eats the worm. He's the guy. Yeah. So that's my Uncle Mike, and no one could match that energy the way Gonzo could match that energy. And if my house remains standing when it was all done, we will have all had a phenomenal time. So it's got to be Gonzo the table too.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Love that.
All right. Now I think we have officially done it. This was an absolute blast of a pod. I mean, it's a wonderful movie. How could it not be a good pod? But it's also a wonderful guest. We could be talking about what's stuck to the bottom of our shoe and have a good conversation with Amanda Rivas. So Amanda, thank you for joining us again on Media Lit.
Oh, you guys, thank you again for having me. This was so much fun. And you know what? I know sometimes it's like, oh, wait, we went. I'm like, we didn't. That's the thing. Like, I feel like when you're in the middle of a great conversation, it doesn't feel, I'm like, oh, the time flew because it's just that much fun. And that's how it is with you guys. So I love podcasting with you guys. And thank you for having me. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah, I just want to thank you as well, Amanda. You know, I say this to you every time you come on the pod. But you and Bill, and Josh and all the folks you podcast with, you put so much time and effort into building a podcasting family and making everyone feel welcome. And that's something we've tried to emulate on Media Lit. So we are so proud to call you part of our podcast family. And we hope we'll have you back here soon. I know we have one project in the works already, but I don't think that has to be the only one.
Oh no, I'm down to come back whenever y'all want me. I am here because it's always a blast with you guys.
Love to
Likewise.
hear. Well, to the podlings at home, if you enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed past episodes with Amanda Rivas, we would love to hear about it. We would love to hear about it specifically by way of 5-star ratings and reviews wherever you get your podcasts. You'll find us on Apple. You'll find us on Spotify. You'll also find us on Instagram, where we're at media.lit.pod. We need to get to know you, podlings. Tell us that you hate our take on Saving Silverman. Tell us we forgot your favorite gag from the Muppet movie. Chime in and become a part of this wonderful conversation that we're all having. We can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah, Kris, I think you said it all. The more we get our podlings involved, the stronger Media Lit is going to be. But speaking of communication and online presence, I want to give everyone a chance to plug their projects that they've been working on. So, Amanda, where can folks find all of your great work out there on the internet and beyond?
Yeah, so I am co-host of the flagship podcast on the Pop Break at Socially Distanced with our all mutual friend and my wonderful co-host Bill Botkin. And you can catch us every Thursday talking all kinds of pop culture goodness. And you can go back into our archive and hear Randy and hear Kris because they've guested with us several times. And of course, we will continue to have them guest into the next year. So y'all know, y'all are gonna stay busy because we love having y'all on. And so, of course, we just recorded we had Kris on for the Penguin finale with his co-host Dan Cohen of Batman by the Numbers. And it was a phenomenal discussion, and love it. And of course, Randy, you'll be joining us as well for Skeleton Crew. So excited for that
Goonies
episode.
never say die.
Yeah, Space Goonies. It's going to be an epic adventure. I'm here for it. So check us out again every Thursday where you stream your podcasts and let us know what you think. And of course, I'm also the co-host of our Anime Pop podcast with my wonderful anime brother and co-host, the aforementioned Josh Sarnecki, and where we talk about different animes that are trending each month, anime recommendations from our guests and news. Of course, Randy and Kris joined us to talk about Terminator Zero, and that was a fantastic discussion. So go listen to that in the archive. Our current episode out right now is on the third season or third core of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, and of the very, very highly anticipated and very popular fall anime release of Dan Da Dan, which is crazy. If you like aliens and if you like ghosts and a little bit of romance, this is all over the place. It's the best kind of chaos and it's very, very good. So check it out. Of course, we were joined by Kelvin Kately of the Dat Feelin' Podcast Network. And of course, Kelvin has joined us in Socially Distanced as well. It was a phenomenal time. So check us out again on all streaming platforms and follow the Pop Break everywhere on social media. You can follow me at Amandalorian on Instagram and Threads, at Resner's Chick on X. I will probably get a Blue Sky as well. So more to come on that because I'm like, I might jump the ship. Here we go. We're going to try another social media.
Can't wait to see you over there, Amanda.
Yeah, I'm joining you guys. It'll happen. And then, of course, my significant other and I cosplay together too. So we are at Brandalorian on Instagram, and we have pictures of our Rogue and Gambit coming up from a cosplay meetup we just did this past weekend. We are doing 2 Bleach cosplays this week, and then, of course, in December as well. So pictures incoming. But thank you guys again for having me. You guys are the best.
Yeah, check out that Instagram. I just I love this couple. I love this family. I love to see you guys going out with the little guy to the cons, and yeah, you're just so much fun. Like I feel the joy of your relationship by association just through these great photos. So definitely check them out. Kris, where should people look for your work beyond Media Lit?
Yeah, as Amanda mentioned, I am the co-host of the Batman by the Numbers podcast. We're wrapping up our Year of the Villain over there. We just recorded a fantastic villains draft that we're excited to drop later this month. Lots of good villain conversation there, some deep cuts. But other than that, I'm also an actor and a voice actor. I'm a father and a husband. You can find me doing all of those things on Instagram, where I am at Kris_Ingersoll. That's Kris spelled like Kringle.
Absolutely check that out. Batman by the Numbers is a totally awesome podcast. Dan is so great, as we all know. Kris is incredible. So to see that super team come together, I just can't wait to see what the new year brings for you guys. As for me, you can find me on Twitter for now. You can also find me on Blue Sky, but on Twitter, I'm Mr_Alain, ALLAIN. You can get links to my entertainment writing for the Pop Break and all of my different podcast appearances. I do want to shout out that last month, something really exciting happened. Way back last April, I recorded an episode of Another Pass on the Certain Point of View podcast network. And on this podcast, Case Aiken and his co-host Sam, they will look back at an old film that was maybe not well received or only, got a middling reception. They'll bring on some guests and talk about like what are some practical things that you might have done to like punch this thing up a little bit. The podcast not trying to be cruel or condescending about the creative process or the people involved. But I had such a blast all those months ago talking about the film Solo, which is a film I liked more than most people, but I think it needed some punching up. I had such a blast pitching it as a much more Ocean's 11-y sort of film. And that just dropped back in November. So consider checking that out. Another Pass on Solo. And of course, you can find me on the Pop Break podcast feed, on Pod of Doom, a Black Sabbath appreciation podcast, where I've been falling in love with the deeper catalog of Black Sabbath alongside Justin and Chris Mancini, who are just two of the most delightful guys you'll ever meet. And they are so smart when it comes to talking about music and breaking down the instrumentation and the technique that goes into all of that music. So definitely check us out and hear how smart those guys are. And also hear how patient they are when I make them listen to me describe an entire Sabrina Carpenter album in the middle of a Black Sabbath podcast. So I hope you'll check it out. And we'll see you soon for a pretty epic holiday movie draft that we have in the works. I'll leave that a little bit mysterious. Until next time, have a great night.